Maybe moment.
Aloha!
Once again, we are of the return.
Of the Jedi?
Or, yes, it could be.
It could be.
I don't know. So it's just weird because you were talking about Star Wars figures earlier and it just suddenly made me think of a little horrible anecdote.
It's a horrible anecdote.
Yeah, we could spin it like that because it's almost we're on the build up to Halloween. One of my favourite Star Wars figures when I was a kid was Bosk.
Oh, of course, right.
And we were walking home from school one day and it was in my brother's backpack, and for some reason he was walking along going, "Yay!" throwing his backpack up in the air and catching it, and he happened to miss and it hit the ground and got home and pulled out Bosk and his head had come off. Oh.
Decapitation!
I was very, very young at the time and I was very heartbroken about it. To the point that when I went into, next time we were doing kind of like basic woodwork crafts with balsa wood, as you did at first one.
Of course, yeah.
Built him a little coffin.
Oh!
Bury him in the back garden.
So cute. That's creepy and sweet at the same time. I like it.
That's not the really creepy part. At some point, somehow, I dropped his head and it rolled under the washing machine, and it was this massive, heavy thing from the 70s that you need like a forklift to move.
Of course.
And then about 5-6 years later, when we actually replaced the washing machine, we pulled it out. It was the first time we'd ever actually pulled it out away from the wall.
Dun, dun. Now I'm not going to sleep tonight.
This head of Bosk is going to just floating in front of it. Anyway,
indeed.
From that, it's actually quite a nice segue into our shoutout.
Okay, yes.
Which is for another channel that I've discovered recently, which is the channel of a lady whose name is Mina Edwards.
Oh, nice name.
Who again is another friend who I made through Slasher. She does a lot of folklore, cryptid content, or like stuff about fantastical creatures and things like that.
Excellent.
Which is really, really cool. I was watching The Slit-Faced Woman.
I don't know that one. Sounds hot.
You need to watch it because you don't tell her that, because it's one of those ones that there's no getting out of it.
Ooh, right.
Yes.
It's one of those.
If she turns up oddly enough wearing a mask and then she pulls it down, it's Chelsea smile.
Oh, right. Okay.
Want to know how I got these scars?
That's not what I'm familiar with. I'm intrigued. Colour me intrigued.
But yes, Mina, thank you very much for your support, and do keep up the good work. Okay. So we're moving on to Act 3. Yes, pretty much about the only note I've got here is what I'd said at the start of this, is that I know Woody has to lean into his bad side to put himself on the same level to beat Chucky.
Where does he get that motivation from?
Well, he's seen him kill somebody for a start. He's seen him attack a dog. He's seen him, the fight with the toys and all this kind of thing. Obviously, we didn't touch too much on which toys got destroyed in Andy's house before Pizza Planet.
No, we didn't. Yes, no. We did say that there would be a few.
Could they just kill? Could he just kill the army men? Because the army men aren't useful for the rest of the story.
Like real soldiers, they're expendable.
No, that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean, guys.
But if there's loads of them as well,
yes,
that's the excuse just to squish them and snap them
and just
all
generally pulverize them.
Yes.
Yeah. That's referencing what boys did with their little green men.
Little green men. Is that what we call it these days?
It is if you haven't been to the doctor's recently.
Sorry, kids.
Toy play.
Is there anybody who is off limits in terms of potential kills?
Still in Andy's house.
Well, we're still in Sid's house at the moment.
Oh, okay.
I would personally say no. I don't know what you think.
What, just did more kills?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not just saying who's off the plate. I would say nobody's off the plate at this point. As long as we remember that his goal is to get back to Andy.
Yes.
We can't kill Scud. The Scud is needed.
He got a bit injured, but yeah, we would have to say that he got hit somewhere that's not going to affect his movement. But again, it's, as you said, it's because movie, because it's a cartoon.
This is where I might be going, a bit off the rails. So I'm going to propose this to you, and I'm going to probably spend 5 minutes having you guys tell me why it's not going to work. But I was actually thinking of proposing a really quite short third act. So we get more or less what happens in the beginning of the third act. Like Sid going outside with Chucky with the rocket strapped on and the toys coming out to surround him. As we discussed earlier, they're doing it to frighten him away from Chucky before Chucky can do anything. At that point, we've got a Chucky who's strapped to a rocket at the mercy of a bunch of toys who have in their possession a bunch of matches.
Yes. I did think, just before we go any further, because I want to just touch on a bit that would have happened at that kind of the end of Act 2, beginning of this. Because as we said, I kind of forgotten, yes, Chucky wants to get back to Andy. Would he try and use that as a way of currying help from Woody? Because he thinks he needs Woody's help to get back there.
Well, we know that Chucky's quite manipulative. We know that he's perfectly capable of manipulating someone.
Yeah, so you might try and do that to Woody to try and say, look, you want to get back to Andy, I want to get back to Andy.
That's right.
Yeah, I like the last one.
Yeah?
That can still lead into what you were saying.
Yeah.
The other thing that...
Obviously, my version of the story ends with the toys launching him into orbit. That's why I said it's be a very, very, very short version of the third act.
I think we should still use the launching him into orbit. I'm just not sure.
Yeah.
I think we need to string it out a bit longer.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I recognise I was proposing a very short version of Act 3. But it's just that once they scare Sid away, there's nothing to stop them. He's strapped to a rocket, they've got matches. There's nothing to stop them from just launching him up into the atmosphere and watching him go boom.
Yeah. All I was going to say, sorry, I'm having to backtrack here. Back at the end of Act 2, that bit where we've got Chucky facing off against Scuzz, or Scuzz, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
We could put, again, a bit of role reversal, we could put Woody in the position that Buzz is in the original film where he sees the Good Guys commercial. Well, the Good Guys, where he sees the Buzz Lightyear commercial. Woody ends up in the living room, the TV's on. Still no more news in the case of the child murderer Charles Lee Ray. That's the point where, at the end of Act 2, Woody realised that he actually was telling the truth, and he really is what he says he is.
Yeah. Gold star.
Yeah. Fantastic.
That's a nice touch. Love it.
It just ups the stakes for him.
Well, this is the other thing I realise is not only is it a very short version of Act 3 that I proposed, but it involves no further deaths. And we've got quite a cast in front of us. We could do a bit of carnage before we go out. I was just thinking about the most singular, straightforward from one point to the next, A to B. There's nothing to stop them.
String it out a bit longer than in Act 3. When Sid gets up, he's like, all right, he's going to go and get Chucky. Gets called down for breakfast. We could then throw in an equivalent of the TeaParty scene.
And after it's all over, you say, "Oh, what a lovely tea party."
Where Hannah gets hold of Chucky and has Chucky at the tea
party. That would be awesome. That would be so awesome.
So he sat there at the tea party with the rocket strapped to his back, and he's like, "I'm going to fucking kill her. I'm going to gut that little bitch."
I like that.
I know, I really love that. Yeah, would you like more tea, Mrs. Nesbitt? My name's Chucky, bitch!
And then she runs off,
Could he kill Hannah's toys?
You could kill Hannah's toys, why not?
We're still R-rated cartoon here.
Yeah.
Could we kill Hannah? She's a very innocent child. Would be horrible. It'd be like killing the dog, but that's a tradition too. Do we want to kill? Do we want more human deaths?
I quite like. Well,
I don't know. It's tempting. I mean, yes, Hannah does have a role to play when they try and get outside, but that could easily be her mum. And obviously,
easily.
And we just don't have it being revealed. Oh god!
Needs to get to the horror element of it.
I like it that he does kill her, but leaves her behind the bed. So nobody ever actually discovers her body. And if we're going to go forward a bit later in the act, where they're trying to get back to Andy and as they're moving, you just hear a from the house as they're leaving, and that's it.
I quite like that. Killing off Hannah.
It's dark, but
gold star for him.
Oh my god! All right, thank you.
It's because it adds more to the horror side of things, bringing him in.
Yeah. Oh god, yes, because that could be happening in the other room, Woody's still trying to get out from under the box with the because he's got the toolbox on top.
Because this is before he finds.
Yeah, and he's like, and he can just hear it. He can't see it because it's in her room,
Oh,
but he can hear it.
Yeah, that's a nice scene. It's a nice horrible scene. Him struggling in vain to get out.
Mm-hmm.
As the sounds of the struggle and death going on behind, and it's like, no.
I'd want to say then with all of this, then after this scene for the rest of the film, just Woody just has 5 o'clock shadow. He's starting to become the Dark Cowboy.
Yeah, I quite like that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, he's being broken.
Yes. Fantastic.
Because that's not what toys are meant to do. They're meant to entertain children, and not only, he's party to all of this horribleness.
Yeah.
On the part of something that's supposed to be a toy.
And it's Andy's new favourite,
Yeah, and it's Andy's new favourite.
Why hasn't this crossover ever been made?
I know. And of course, Andy, even more so, it's in the name. He's a good guy.
I'm a good guy. I'll be your friend to the end.
He's not using the dog then to get to Andy's.
What about getting out of the house?
Yeah.
We've kind of gone backwards a bit. I think that's what we've done. We've gone backwards
kind
a
of
little bit.
sidetracked.
I've got another one then, thing to throw in before we wrap things up.
Yeah.
Could he kill Chucky, at some point, if he's not going to be the method of transportation? When they go back to the house at Andy's for Christmas, and they find out it's a dog, it brings back that subtle hint that it's a bit of a fucked up ending.
I see what you mean. It's like a callback.
Referencing that.
All of the horrible shit that you can do in a movie, isn't it? Kill the kid, kill the dog.
But we did. To add in the death of Scud. I mean, we did it in 73.
We did.
We did kill the dog in 73. Not in real life. No.
It's mentioned. They find...
Oh,
they
right.
find
It's
the dog
not like
collar
an
in the
on-screen
sink.
moment.
Yeah.
Ah, right. Okay, that's why I do it.
Where are we killing the dog? Are we killing the dog like in Act 2, as we said, when he gets attacked, or are we keeping him till he serves his purpose in this? Because in the end of Act 3, we can't kill him in Sid's back garden because Scud is outside the front door, he's on the front porch.
Ah, right. Yes, he's right.
Nice, we can't kill Scud?
Yeah.
Well, we
Oh, we
can,
still
but
can.
we just can't kill Scud too early. We have to kill him after a certain point in time.
Yeah. It could
So,
even
like,
just
once
be
he starts chasing the toys, he's fair game.
It could just be as their moment of trying to escape. Like, it's just a quick, brief moment where...
Like when they're trying to get through the fence and he gets stuck and everything like
just
that, and then
adds more
Scud
to
comes
the
after
action
him.
and mayhem, throw that in there.
You get the bit, as we say, that where the toys band together to scare the bejesus out of Sid. While they're doing that, Chucky uses that as his excuse to make his break for freedom.
Oh, okay, right.
So while they're scaring the crap out of Sid, Chucky makes a run because he's seen the moving truck already.
Yeah.
He makes a run for the fence.
He's a bit bigger than Buzz.
Yeah, but
I
he's
agree.
also kind of got the strength of a person.
Yeah.
So he can either break through the fence or at least have the dexterity to climb over it.
Well, kind of want him to get stuck on the fence so Scuzz can have an actual chance to come at it.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. So he's like halfway through and he comes running around the house.
Yeah.
And
He just misjudges the height of the rocket and gets stuck on the higher beam of the fence post. I don't know what that's called.
Yeah, that's cool.
He knows, he just misjudges the height.
Yes.
And gets held back for just a few seconds, which is enough for a really fast dog,
Mm-hmm.
like a terrier or a pit bull, to get to you. Which would force the confrontation.
Yeah. So maybe he grabs a bit of a toy or something out of the ground and sticks it in Scud's eye or something. Or just up under the...
Under the belly.
I was going to say, how about he uses his physical strength to force his way through the fence? He breaks off a splinter of the fence and just turns around at your choice, eye or throat.
Yeah. And just,
Yeah.
Yay, we killed a dog!
Yay! One kid, one dog.
and a random gas attendant who
Gas
was never in the
attendant,
original film. I mean, if we want to, at that point, we could say that happens as the big Arctic is pulling in. So the truck driver got killed as well.
Well, we could. That would make it 4, which
Yeah.
is actually a kill count of the main movie.
Cool. Sid runs off.
Yeah.
He's like, great work, guys. Notices that Chucky is gone, and oh my god, I've got to go, and runs off after him.
Yeah.
And that's when we see the van and Andy and that leaving. Up to the big finale. How is this going to happen? Obviously, we don't have Scuzz to chase after them.
Now, this is an interesting one, because if Woody gets to the truck first, why would he help Would he help Chucky get onto the truck?
And if
And if Chucky gets up first, why would he help Woody? Oh, no, maybe that's it. Maybe Chucky gets onto the truck first and starts slinging out the toys that he doesn't like. One of which includes the RC car.
That's a good way of going in. If, it's just one of the things I'm surprised they didn't do in the film itself. The skateboard.
Oh, right.
He did give him a name. I can't remember what it was. But
Wheels?
wheels. That's Woody uses wheels to catch up to the truck.
Yeah.
The other thing that I only thought was that Chucky's trying to get the back of the moving lorry open, and you get that bit where the lorry stops and he gets thrown up into the air, and that's what knocks him off. But then again, there's no reason for them to go back for it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem with it.
That makes sense that they throw RC out
Yeah.
and he jumps on and...
Let's say, for the sake of argument, that Chucky leaps onto the truck, and because he knows that the toys don't like him, he picks all the biggest toys and starts throwing them off the back of the truck. So like Sausage Dog and RC, all those things that are a similar size to him that could possibly oppose him.
Maybe the
throws them off.
dinosaur... That's when we get the dinosaur does his roar. He delivers his massive roar to defend Loki.
Yes, that's a nice touch, yeah. And of course Mr. Potato Head will stand up in front of them all, but he's going to be knocked aside and struck into pieces instantly.
Immediately.
Yeah. But once RC gets chucked out the back, and presumably his controller goes tumbling out the back as well.
The mysteriously disappearing controller, that's only there when it
we
needs
don't
to
have
be.
rockets. Now we now have the rocket and the car in two separate places. That doesn't mean the film's broken,
No.
but we have to remember that.
That kind of works because the lights turn green, the truck and that move off.
Yeah.
Woody's so far behind them, obviously he's got RC there, but it's like they're getting away, I can't do anything. He notices the match still in his holster, and notices the rocket still on Chucky. So that's the kind of ping, eureka moment,
Yeah.
and that's what galvanizes him to go yeehaw on the back of RC and try and chase them down.
So that's when he turns on the turbo button and really goes for it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You remember that? Yeah. Good.
So we'll just have to do it slightly differently, so he will be able to catch up with the lorry.
Yeah. It's got that tiny little ramp bit on it, which has got a little levitated edge, which an RC might conceivably jump up from and up into the back of the truck.
And then big fight between Woody and Chucky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. With the other toys joining in, of course.
Yeah.
Or at least the ones that haven't been chucked out of the back of the truck.
Yes.
You probably in the background of the fight, you'll see Sausage Dog trying to string himself up the street, one link at a time.
Happy then we're going to possibly lose some of the toys out of the film altogether.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Maybe a couple of the smaller ones as Woody zooms past, he just grabs hold of them and throws them on the back of RC.
Oh yeah, he'll pick up a few.
Yeah.
And I imagine that eventually
They'll
never
make
mind.
it back there.
Yeah.
They'll get to the house.
That's getting way ahead of things.
Yes.
It's the fight we're talking about now. So it's Woody, who's very stuffed.
Mm-hmm.
Has very little solid to him. Mind you, at this point, he won't have any weapon on him.
Yeah.
The box cutter or whatever he had back at Sid's long's gone. He's got his hands and whatever he can take from the boxes.
Unless there's a box cutter in the back of the movie van. Open the
It's
boxes.
conceivable.
Yeah.
Simple.
So Chucky with the box cutter versus Woody.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think this goes?
See, it's a shame that there's no way of getting them up onto the roof of the thing, because again, I'd still like to be able to get it so that Woody ends up in the car with Andy when they get to the thing.
Oh, right.
I mean, we could have a stack of boxes by the door that are strapped up, and Chucky tries to climb up and over them because he wants to get back to Andy himself.
Okay, so I remember that the back edge of the trailer, there was that long canvas tag that hangs off of industrial things.
Yeah.
So they could maybe get hold of the tag and get up onto the roof that way.
Yeah.
I like the idea of him ending up in the car at the end, although I think it's something that should happen after the fight.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking that the canvas tag is a way to get them up on the roof during the fight. I figure Woody's probably got a couple of slits, bit of stuffing sticking out of his arms and a leg.
But Woody manages to get the match, strikes it on the roof of the thing, lights it. Chucky's like, oh great, it means I can get to the car. Thank you very much. Woody grabs hold of him, and as they shoot off, again, I was going to say, in terms of trajectory, imagine they can try and shoot forward.
Wait. I feel like we missed a bit. So he strikes the match, and then what happens?
Lights the fuse.
So he gets around behind Chucky.
Yeah. Chucky's like, oh great, you've done me a favour, I can get up there quicker. I really wanted Woody on the front, so as they're kind of shooting forward, Woody, because he's not attached to anything, basically kicks him off trajectory, and that's what causes Woody to fall into the car. Chucky shoots up into the air and blows up.
I see what you're saying.
I was thinking how we were going to get out of that.
I think we'd have to do a little bit of because Hollywood, because like I just said, normally Woody would have to get behind Chucky to light the fuse. But if we say that the fuse is curled around the size of Chucky's hip,
Yeah, that would work.
he can run at him, light the fuse and grab hold of him,
Yeah.
and then do the kicking thing like you said.
I mean, we can even have them tussling while they're in the air because he's still got the box opener, and the last thing that Woody was trying to do is get him to drop them because so that he can't.
Cut the tape.
Yeah, they're fighting over that. That flies down, and we can have that as an aside. It kind of drops. I don't know. It hits the front of the truck or something. Woody goes into the thing, into the bag.
Into the bag.
Chucky's like, "Screw you!"
Wow, I like it.
And Woody could say, "Get off my van!"
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
No, he says
That's
there's
if
a
Toy
snake
Story
in my boot.
Yeah. That's if Toy Story meets Air Force One.
Get off my plane.
No, that
Toy
would be
Story
one hell of a crossover.
Toy Story 1.
Toy Story 1.
Gary Oldman takes the toys to the plane.
Maybe if you really say nicely.
But are we happy with that?
I feel like that's a good ending. We've reached the end of the movie.
Yeah,
Woody is reunited with his boy.
Does it end with Christmas? And then it says it's a dog, and then they're like, "Oh, yeah, awkward because the dog died."
Oh yeah.
Hence the-
Oh yeah, we have to have that moment.
So it's not a
Let it
happy
pay off.
moment. It's actually really quite.
It's a happy moment for them, but for all the toys, they're like, oh.
yeah.
And apart from one moment, we
Yeah.
can't imagine managed to avoid any horrible things happening to Andy at all.
No, the kid
Well,
completely got off scot-free.
He should get away with it. He should get paid levels 12.
Yeah.
He misses his good guy.
Yeah, we did. I think we finished the movie.
Turned out not how I was expecting at all.
No.
But as you quite rightly said, we equaled the amount of deaths that are in child play. So
Yeah,
that's-
we did. That was a strange but resoundingly R-rated movie we made.
Toy
A
play.
cartoon, sorry, I say cartoon.
Yeah, it's almost like the people who made Toy Story were trying to do an R-rated thing, but couldn't break themselves out of their universal rated mindset.
And then we
Well,
came
I mean-
along.
Yeah.
That bit when the toys go after Sid, that's proper horror movie shit. That
Yeah.
is the rotating head and everything is like, oh.
I do like the Sid's toy kaiju. All of them just like it's like a Power Rangers thing. All just
Yeah, no, that's a great
bonded
idea.
together going,
Yeah.
"Oh." Anyway,
Yeah.
so we are one down.
You know?
One down. So it's
Child story.
Yeah, child story.
Yep, the story of Andy Barclay and his real life Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one.
Voiced, of course, by Tim Allen.
Of course. With presumably lots of CGI.
Not Chris Evans.
It's not Chris Evans, no. No, you're not allowed to cheat. You can't steal another person's role.
Stick to being Captain America, if they're allowed.
Naughty.
That's us done, I think, for today. We will be back with Act 1 of Child's Story, and we'll see you then.
As always, guys, TTFN.
Hello.
Ba 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 ba.